What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Counterpoint. So I seen a reel where a young lady was talking about the Nolan Wells situation. She said, "This reminds me of Emmett Till." And the first reel that I saw, I kind of was just like, okay. To me, it really don't, but okay. And then in the comments, I seen, and it's a lot of people. I seen like a lot of women more was saying, "Yeah, girl, I was thinking the same thing when I heard it." Then a couple of dudes like it is just Emmett Till all over again. And so I feel like I want to talk about it on this Counterpoint channel, and mainly because in high school, I was in high school from '91 to '95, graduated in '95. Every book report that I had to do in that 4 year period, I either did it on Malcolm X or Emmett Till. And when I took African American political thought and we discussed civil rights legislation, I, of course, was very alert during when we talked about the Emmett Till situation. So I'm very keen to it. I've been basically since 1991, I've been studying Emmett Till, researching back when we had to do it with encyclopedia and go to the library and whatnot. So I just want to say out the gate, I do not see too many similarities between Emmett Till and Nolan Wells. I do see some, but I don't think that's what she meant. One, it was two black teens. Emmett Till was 14. Obviously, Nolan was 18, 19, who came to the end of their life in the state of Mississippi. That could be a similarity. Both black males. Um, Both had water involved in the situation. But that's about, again, the state of Mississippi, black teens, both water. That's about as far as I can go. But I do think there's one more. I'll talk about that at the end. For those of you that don't really know much about Emmett Till, you may have just heard his name float around. He was killed by white people or whatever. Let me give you a quick, maybe 90-second catch up. 1955, the summer 1955, in August, a young boy named Emmett Till was from Chicago, went down to visit his kinfolk in Mississippi. Before he left, matter of fact, later on in the interview, before he ever left Chicago, his mom told him, "Be careful. Mississippi, pretty much, Mississippi played by different rules, blah, blah, blah. It's not like here in Chicago." So off he goes, enjoying himself, enjoying the summer, enjoying his family, whatever. They end up going to a store, a couple of relatives, him and his cousin, and they was kind of chilling outside waiting on him. He went inside to get something, and when he came out, one of the cousins, this is all, the way they told the story, heard a whistle. And then the woman who, at that time, she was 21, white lady that owned the store, her and her family, whatever. She told her sister-in-law that Emmett Till had whistled at her, and who eventually got back to her husband. And that night, a couple hours later, the husband and the half brother shows up at Emmett Till's great uncle's house. I believe his name was Moses. Moses Wright showed up at his house, holding that firepower and demanding, where's a young kid from Chicago? Bring him out. They sent him out, and then shortly after that, the family got everybody together, riled up because he didn't come back. They went down, talked to the police. Everybody started a search. About 3 days later, he was found by another 14-year-old kid who was fishing in the lake, in the river. Now, let me explain why I don't see the similarities. Nolan Wells, as of right now, what we know publicly, at the time that I'm releasing this video, from what we know publicly and can actually speak on, they still have not determined the cause of death. From what we know right now, they don't have a suspect in terms of how he passed because they haven't even concluded the cause of death. We're still waiting on autopsy. We're still waiting on toxicology reports. We're still waiting on police investigation. Everybody everybody is watching the situation is still waiting. So as the statement is made by this lady and other people that I've seen, it reminds me of Emmett Till. With the evidence that we have now, let me tell you what they had with Emmett Till. Emmett Till's body had floated because of decomposition and everything else, the gases released, it had floated to the top. That's how the young boy was able to see it. When they got Emmett Till's body, he has several skull fractures. His wrists were broken, like he had been trying to defend himself. His femur bone, the strongest bone in the body, left thigh, was broken. And he had been shot in the head. When that was done, plus, just beat up really bad with blunt force. When they were done with that, they tied a cotton gin fan, you know what that is, look it up for you young folk, around his neck using barbed wire, threw him in the river. But of course, again, with the gases in the body, it allowed it to, he floated back up. So when you look at a body that has a skull fractures, multiple broken wrists, broken femur, body badly bruised, barbed wire around with a cotton gin fan to weigh him down. That's evidence that a crime has been committed. Then you have the great uncle Moses, who is testifying and who's telling law enforcement these are the ones that took him. So you have eyewitnesses. Even if you don't believe what the state of Mississippi said in their autopsy, if you go with what the black pathologist said, he still found no cause to say that there was foul play. In Emmett Till's situation, his whole body proved that it was foul play. Like I said, then you go to the great uncle, who they came to his house to get him, who in court pointed the two men out. Those two came and got my nephew. Them two right there. They came and got him. Then they go to court, goes to trial. Because the girl in the video said, it's a cover-up, like Emmett Till, it's a cover-up. Let me tell you something. There was no cover-up. They didn't have to cover it up. Let me help you. When it goes to trial, they said that the jury deliberated or whatever for about 67 minutes and said it would have been sooner, but they stopped to go get a soda. They came back with a not guilty verdict. The two men were acquitted in an hour and 7 minutes, and one of them said it would have been even sooner had they not stopped to go get a drink. All white jury. There was no cover up. The evidence was there. The men came to the house and kidnapped him with several witnesses. And the next time they seen him, remember they had a firepower. The next time they seen his body, he took one to the head, broken bones, fractured skulls, the whole nine. But keep in mind here, when I say an all-white jury, because y'all say cover-up. 1955 in Mississippi, Jim Crow was still in effect. Black people didn't even get voting rights till almost 10 years later. You're gonna pull the jury from the voters. If you don't have voting rights, how can you pull a black people to be on the jury? Of course, they know this. They want it to be stacked. Of course, they know this. Now, 1955, what white person is going to say in a system that believed at the time if you make advancement or flirt or look white women in the eyes too long, it's a violation. Now, what white person on that jury going to say that those two white men were innocent? Of course they're not. So they let them go. They acquitted them. Later on down the road, in a magazine interview, one of them admitted that they did it. But of course, you protected by double jeopardy by the law of the land, so you can't arrest them twice. See how that works? There's no cover up. It's clear. They did it. But they're not going to be charged because the system is unjust towards blacks in 1955 under Jim Crow. That's why his mother told him before he left Chicago, they do things different down there. We ain't where we need to be in Chicago, but best believe Mississippi, they do things different. So there ain't no cover up. We know them two white boys did it in Emmett Till situation in Mississippi. We know them two men did it. We know. Put them on trial. In the courtroom, the great uncle stands up and points them out. Them the two that took him. But they get off because Jim Crow and the laws at that time allowed for an all-white jury to be present, to be on the system. That's why. There's no cover up. You don't have to cover up when the law is already going to protect you because you're not going to get anybody else on that. You don't have to cover up. Nobody's going to give a guilty plea. Nobody's going to do. That's why civil rights that's why it had to change. That's why Emmett Till's mom did an open casket funeral so that the world could see. And his situation became a great catalyst for many leaders, many court cases, many trials, many his unfortunate death actually was a great part of the rise of the civil rights movement, which still took almost 10 years before black people, 1964, 65, that's when the voting rights was given. 10 years after his death. Where's the cover up? There's no cover up. Nolan body was found. They done offered probably now almost $150,000 to $200,000 reward. Ain't nobody came forth with nothing. No witnesses. Ain't nobody seen nothing. Emmett Till, the whole family seen the two men take him. How is it similar? The state of Mississippi has done an autopsy. Ben Crump's team of black pathologists has done an autopsy. Both of them have come up with the same conclusion. We don't see evidence or probable cause to say foul play was involved in Nolan Wales' situation. Emmett Till already told you how his body was. So what's the similarities? Where is it similar? Emmett Till allegedly whistled at a white woman in a time where it was a violation. Where's the similarities? Nobody's, as far as, and with the evidence that we know right now, ain't nobody came forth and said, I seen him last. I seen him when he went I seen him when he went on the boat. I seen him. Ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody seen that. I'm gonna tell you what the similarity is. Back in the day, when we watch movies like Malcolm X, Ghost of Mississippi, them hard movies where they did black folks wrong, we would actually say that after that movie and the next day. I remember one time I said something slick to a teacher and almost got in trouble because I was like, we ain't talking to no white folks today because we done seen Malcolm, man. We ain't talking to no white folks. Because watching a movie like that made us feel something towards all white people. We young. We're gonna project the whole thing on them, right? That's the similarity. When you know it's Mississippi and you see a young black boy is dead and white people was around, you don't think evidence first. Your mind do the same thing our minds did when Malcolm X came out and say, I don't know how, and I don't know how they did it, but I know white people did something to this boy. That's the similarity right there. It's the emotion that you feel. It's Mississippi. I know they dirty. How do you know? Well, only got one example. Most people only know one example. Emmett Till. That's how I know. Back in 55, 2 years before my father was even born. So he ought maybe 70, so 72 years ago. That's how I know. Yeah, that's the similarity. It's the same feeling we got, same emotion we got when we watch Ghost of Mississippi and we say to ourselves, we ain't talking to no white people for a whole week. They better not cross us. They better not say nothing. They gonna get it. I don't care who they are, you white, you gonna get it. That's how we felt. That's the similarity. Black boy dead in the water, Mississippi. We don't need no evidence. Our emotions high. It reminds us of Emmett Till. That's what she meant. So there's your similarity.